During F1 testing, teams are offered the opportunity to use various forms of complex technology to see if their cars are working correctly. You've probably seen these tools before as they've become a staple during testing sessions. You have your aero rakes, which consist of a series of sensors, including pitted tubes, pressure sensors, and sometimes temperature sensors used by teams to gather data on airflow and aerodynamics. And surely you've seen the bright yellow flow viz that has been painted on cars while they run out on track. This is used to visualize airflow over a car's surface, particularly around key aerodynamic components like the front and rear wings, the floor, and side pods. All these tools help engineers understand the car's aerodynamics and make adjustments to improve performance, such as optimizing airflow to the rear wing or tweaking the car's balance. These measurements are crucial for refining the car's setup and ensuring that the aerodynamic features are working as intended. But there are other techniques used that don't involve fancy paint or sensors, but rather an odd way of steering in order to collect data. We saw this recently during 2025 F1 testing, as McLaren's Lando Norris was seen aggressively seesawing at the wheel of his MCL 39. And if you're thinking maybe Norris is copying Alonso's understeer-inducing driving technique from his Renault days, well, that's not the case. This is what's called the steer sweep technique, a track test procedure to check how the car's aero is affected by different steer angles. Let me give you some background on the philosophy of this technique. And by me, I mean I'm going to read you something written by someone much smarter than me in this field. Shout out to this Reddit user for the detailed info. I will leave the link in the description so you can read the full post for more in-depth analysis. Basically, the teams want to create an aero map, which is a multi-dimensional model that attempts to model the aerodynamic response of the car. That's typically in terms of section lift coefficient and aero balance against a set of variables. Sectional lift coefficient, also known as SCL, is the basic currency of downforce, measured in non-dimensional terms. It is a variant of lift coefficient, but with no area in the equation. Aero balance is simply SCL front and SCL rear, i.e. the percentage of total load that is going through the front axle. So why do some teams ask their drivers to do this extreme steering angle on track? Well, simply put, this is something very hard to replicate in the wind tunnel. Wind tunnels cannot test very high yaw or steer angles, so this is the first time teams will get data like this. Yaw refers to the rotation of the car around its vertical axis. The aero mapping done by teams includes things such as ride heights, yaw, steer, and roll. But in the late 2000s, other variables such as curvature started to enter into the correlation question. Curvature is the reciprocal of corner radius. Sharp, low-speed corners have high curvature, and something like 130R has low curvature. The issue with curvature is that it is very difficult to recreate in the wind tunnel, and so you can only really model it in CFD. This is where the steer sweep technique comes in. Introduced by Red Bull Racing's Peter Prodramou, they decided to create an aero map using the real car. Steer angle is something the wind tunnel shows very high SCL sensitivity to. The wind tunnel model allows you to independently sweep the steer angle while holding all other variables constant. The important thing to note is that on track, this range of steer angles is highly coupled with curvature and somewhat highly coupled with ride height. So you only get very high steer on track in conjunction with high front ride height and curvature. This is what the sweep solves. Engineers can now log a full range of steer angles while holding front ride height and curvature roughly consistent. The technique itself involves the driver overslipping the tire by sharply sawing at the wheel, usually 3 to 4 spikes in the steer trace per low-speed corner. The sharp and transient nature of the sweep means the front end doesn't grip up, and the actual trajectory, and therefore curvature, around the corner is almost unaffected. Not all teams use this technique, however. To develop a reliable, track data-based aero mapping is costly in terms of staffing, wind tunnel time, and track running time. And in this cost cap era with aerodynamic restrictions, not every team is capable of implementing this technique. So there you have it. Hopefully a clear but simple explanation as to Lando Norris's extreme steering technique during testing. Thank you for watching today's video. If you like this type of content and want to see more of it, leave us a comment and also subscribe to the Backmarkers F1 show.